Okay, in this video we're going to be checking out this 3-inch frame from Realacc. It's called the Land150 and kind of unique looking. It's a TrueX frame, so it's 150 millimeters motor to motor and 105 millimeters front to back and side to side. It's got 3 millimeter single bottom plates, unibody design, and you got 2 of these side plates here that are 1.5 millimeters, and you have 4 of these standoffs here that hold the frame together, and the side plates slot into some notches here on the bottom plate. You got these little braces here that basically connect the arms to the body that kind of gives it a little bit more strength. The motor hole pattern is 9 millimeters and 12 millimeters, so it'll take the 11 size motors up to the 1407 size motors. And I'll get you the weight of the frame. And the weight of the bare frame is coming in at about 36.25 grams. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap in some parts into this one from my Freebie X140 build here that I upgraded with the Tachyon motors. These are some 1408 motors. I'm going to put this onto this frame. I think it's going to be lighter overall with this lighter frame. So on the old frame here, it's coming in at 151 grams. So I'm thinking that on the new frame here should be less, but I'm going to swap the parts in here and we'll take a look.
A few moments later.
Okay, so here it is with all the parts moved over, and now that I've actually seen this frame with parts on it, it looks pretty good. When I was looking at the bare frame, I wasn't too impressed with it. It looked kind of boring, but this style is not that boring. Actually, it looks pretty interesting. A couple things to note. I wish there was a slot here for the camera mount so that you could move the camera back and forth. You can see here the camera's recessed a little bit from the side plates, well protected. I did check the camera and the side plates aren't in view for this particular camera, but if you have a shallow lens and a wide angle lens, this might actually show up in view. I also tested the Runcam Swift Mini, and that lens was just in line with the edge of the side plates. So if you do get this frame and you have that camera, then you probably won't have these side plates in view. Obviously, if you have a longer lens, like something like a Micro Eagle, that's going to stick out. So keep that in mind, that your camera protection is going to be non-existent if you have a really long lens. It's going to stick out because of the single screw hole and not the slot there. Now when I transferred the parts over, I didn't transfer the buzzer over, and I decided to change the props because when I was flying it around on the other gem fan props, I think those are the 3052s, the amp draw was huge, and I was only getting a 2-minute flight, less than a 2-minute flight on a 550. So I'm going to be trying out these other gem fan props. These are the 3035s. They're lighter and less pitch, so I think it'll be better for this really high kV motor, say 1408, 4100 kV motor, really high kV motor. So actually I think I'll fly better, and I'm going to probably use a bigger battery as well to get a little bit more flight time. And I think it's going to weigh probably quite a bit less than it was before. I think it was 150 grams on the old frame, and I think that frame weighs 50 grams. Okay, so now in the new setup here, it's now down to about 135 grams. So I shed about 15 grams. So I think this ought to perform pretty well. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and take it out to the field and take it for a flight. Okay, so I'm just going to be running this on the same PIDs that I had on the previous frame. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm not sure if I need to adjust them or not. It seemed okay last time. Okay, the PID's a little loose. Feels like it has about the same amount of power. Yeah, there's some oscillation there. I need to add some TPA. It seems faster. I think the prop is faster, but I don't think it has as much punch out power. And that's expected. That the dead gem fan 3052 prop is an amp, very amp hungry. So this might be a better prop for racing than freestyle. But yeah, in terms of handling, this seems pretty decent. Obviously I haven't done a whole lot of tuning on this. But I can tell that the battery isn't sagging nearly as much as on the other prop, so it should have a little bit better flight time. I think my battery died about a minute and a half, so maybe I can get a little bit more flight time here. I'm still at 14.4 volts. I think this prop is actually better on this KV for this motor. I'm also running a bigger battery as well this time, running the 650 China Hobbyline battery. So it should definitely have more flight time versus the 550 GNB that I was using before. Plus, the the China Hobbyline is actually underrated. So I'm at 14 volts. So far so good. Might have to land pretty soon. Yep, I have to land now. This battery, as soon as you drop below 14, it wants to just die. So I'm gonna go ahead and kill it here before I end up in the middle of nowhere. I think this flies pretty good. Just feel a little bit more locked in than before on the same pitch. Obviously, just changing the frame around. So there's definitely no complaints with the frame, but I like the fact that the props are a little bit lower in the camera view, with the camera a little bit more forward in this frame versus the old one.